How long have you been trying to figure out everything by yourself? 6 months, a year, maybe longer? And how's that working for you? Because I want to be honest right now, not to me, but with yourself. Are you further along than you were 12 months ago? Or you're in the same place, but just more tired? Because here's what I've noticed. Most people who say they want to build businesses are actually building a prison. They're the inmate and the warden. They're editing videos. They're designing the graphics. They're writing the captions. They're creating the websites. They're the customer service. They're doing the invoices. They're doing the books. They're doing the ads. And they wonder why they're exhausted, overwhelmed, and not going anywhere fast. And here's the hard truth nobody wants to say out loud. You don't have a strategy problem. You don't have an information problem. You have a who problem. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you something that costs years to learn, and it's going to cost you nothing to understand, but it could cost you everything if you ignore it. I want to talk to you about something I call the hidden cost of doing it yourself. Most people, when they hear the word cost, they think about money going out. They think about, I can't afford to hire someone. They think, I'll just learn to do it all by myself to save the money. They think, I don't need help. I got this. And I want to be gentle, but I also want to be honest. That thinking is keeping you broke, because that's how wealth works. Because that's not how wealth works. That's how struggle works. See, poor people count the cost of getting help. Wealthy people count the cost of not getting help. They are two completely different calculations, and which one you make determines how your life will be ending up. Rich people don't ask, how much does it cost to hire someone? They ask, how much is it costing me to not? Write that down, tattoo it in your brain, because that one shift from can I afford help to what's it going to do to myself actually costing me? And that shift is worth more than the course you'll ever buy. That's a different question, and a different question leads to different answers. So let's have a look at point number one. What is the real currency? Number one, time is currency. Who's ever heard time is money? Unfortunately, time is not money. I can prove it to you really quickly. If I was to offer you $1 million today, would you take it? Yes, everyone's like, yeah, I'll take it. But what if there was one caveat, one condition that you had to end your life today? Would you take it? No. Why? Because you understand that you can get more time. You can get more money, but you can't get more time. What about we flip it? Let's say you had $1 million right now in your bank account, and you had a disease, a condition, and the cure was $1 million, and it was everything you had. You had only $1 million. That's exactly what you had, and the cost was $1 million. Would you pay for that cure? And it was 100% guaranteed to work. Of course you would, because you understand that you can get more money, but you can't get more time. So people say time is money, but it's not. Time, it's a clock, is infinitely greater than money. It's not equal to. Now, I know you've heard that phrase. You've maybe seen it on a motivational poster, and maybe you've nodded along and you've said it yourself. But you can't believe it, because it's actually costing you. Time is infinitely more valuable than money, because you can always get more money. You can't get more time. Every hour is gone, the second passes, you can't earn it back. You can't find more time. You have the same 24 hours as Elon Musk, as Oprah, as Michael Jordan, as Tiger Woods. They're some of the most successful people in the world. The difference is not how much time they have. The difference is, what do they do with their time? So when you spend 24 hours learning how to edit a video, ask yourself a question. What was those 24 hours actually cost me? Not in dollars, in opportunity. What client could I have served in those hours? What relationships could I have built? What could I have developed, or who could I have been in front of? What content could I have created? Different questions. You don't see the learning. You didn't save money learning to edit the video. You spent the most valuable resource you have, your time, on something that someone else could have done faster for a fraction of what your time is worth. That's not discipline. That's not side hustle. That's not grinding. That's a loss of your asset, your time. And what makes it worse, every hour you spend doing low value tasks is training your brain to think small. You're reinforcing the belief that your highest calling is to figure out something via a software tutorial. Your brain is too valuable at that. Your gifts are too rare for that. Stop spending your premium time on discount tasks. Okay, number 2. This one might be hard to swallow. You are not the best person for every task. Now, you might be great. You can't be great at everything. Nobody is. And the problem is when that you think you're talented at everything, is that you actually are taking away from other people. There is something to do, one thing, maybe 2 things, where time disappears, where every hour feels like minutes, where you come alive, where you create more value in one focused hour than most could create in an entire week. That is what Dan Sullivan calls your unique ability. And it's rare, it's valuable. And most people never fully develop it because they're too busy trying to master every single task. Think about Michael Jordan, greatest basketball player who ever lived, right? Unbelievable. But what would happen if he tried to play baseball, right? He would be average at best, right? Now, did Michael Jordan fail at baseball because he wasn't talented? No. He failed at baseball because baseball wasn't his zone. You couldn't say Michael Jordan was a bad athlete because he couldn't hit a curveball, but that's exactly what you're doing to yourself. You're judging yourself against a standard that you never should have built. Every minute you spent outside your zone, troubleshooting your website, figuring out Canva, learning email marketing software, every one of those minutes is a minute that you're not doing the thing that's your zone, your thing that you're designed for. And here's what mediocrity really is. Mediocrity is not a lack of talent. Mediocrity is what happens when talented people spend their best hours doing their worst work. The world doesn't need another average video editor. It needs you in your zone. The world needs you at your best, in your lane, doing your thing that only you can do. Stay in your zone and find the right people to do everything else. Okay, number 3. I can't afford it. Lie. Now here's where most people push back on me and they say, okay, I can't afford to hire someone. I'm just starting out. I'm bootstrapping. I'm not making enough yet. And I understand that. I've been in tight spots too. I know that it's like you're counting every single dollar. But I want to show you something. Because what you just said, I can't afford it, is one of the most expensive beliefs a person has. Let me give you the math. The math doesn't argue with you. It tells you the truth. Let's say your time is worth $100 an hour. Maybe that feels high right now. Maybe it feels low, but just stay with me. And you spend 20 hours to figure out how to run Facebook ads, for example. You think you've saved money. You think, well, you're resourceful. You think you did something smart. But here's what actually happened. You spend $2,000 worth of your time, $20 times 100, simple math, to do something that you could have paid someone $400 to do. So you didn't save $400, you spent or lost $1,600. See the difference? If you're in your zone doing your thing, you could be earning extra money. And that's just the direct math. That doesn't count for your clients that you didn't call, the offer that you didn't write, the content that you didn't create, relationships you didn't build. The real cost isn't those things. It's probably 3 or 4 times, but that's the real simple math. And now you might say, but my time isn't worth $100 an hour yet. And to that I say, whose fault is that? Because here's the truth, your time will never be worth more until you start treating it like it's worth more. You can think you're worth if you can't think you're worth $100, you'll start acting like you're worth $10. The mindset has to be shift before the income ever does. The question is never, can I afford to hire someone? The question is, what level of success am I willing to unlock? Because your next level is not behind a YouTube tutorial. Your next level is behind a person. I'll give you an example. I buy investment properties. I have them, right? But I don't manage them. I pay a property manager who manages them. They follow up with the tenants. They look after the maintenance. They collect the income. They follow up with the insurance, all those sorts of things. They simply will send me an email once a month probably and ask me a question, but the day-to-day is them. I pay them to do the job. Why? I could manage that and I could save myself the money, but they do that every day. That's their day in, day, just their full-time job. They have hundreds and hundreds of rental properties to look after. So that's not my lane, that's not my zone, that's their zone. So I pay them to do it. Often, number 4 is the bottleneck is you. Bottleneck is often you. I want you to introduce a concept that will make you uncomfortable. And I'm not going to apologize for that. In most small businesses, side hustles, the greatest bottleneck is the owner, not the market, not the economy, not the algorithm, not the competition. You're the reason the business isn't growing fast, because everything runs through you. You're the decision maker. You're the task. You're the deliverer. You're creating the content. You're doing everything. And now you can only process so much. You can only do so much. You can only think so much. And the question is, I want you to sit with is, if you got hit by a bus tomorrow, I'm speaking hypothetically, what would happen to your business? Would it keep going or would it die? If your honest answer, it would die, then that means you haven't built a business, you built a job, a stressful job, very unpredictable, underpaid job. And the only way to turn your job into a business is to carry systems and find people that can carry parts of the load without you being there. You don't have to be a superhero. You're not supposed to do everything. The greatest leaders in the world weren't the people who did the most. They were people who surrounded themselves. There's a quote about Henry Ford when he got asked a bunch of questions. He's like, I don't know the answer. They opened up the door, let all these people in, and said, here's my team of supports. I'm summarizing. Here's my team of supports. Ask them the question. I can ask them, and they're the specialists in that department, in that area. They're the researcher. They're the scientist. They're the lawyer. They're the contractor. They're all those people. Right? Delegate everything else. Your job is to lead. Your job is to create. Your job is to serve at the highest level. Everything else, delegate. And this gets me to, I was reading this book this week, point number 5. It's really great, by Dr. Benjamin Harvey, Who, Not How. And he talks about, in this book, if you've got money, you don't have a problem, because money can solve problems. He talks about, in this book, who, not how, and this is the concept, is that often we focus on the how, we focus on how we're going to do this task. And he's like, why don't you get someone in your world that can do that task? Someone that can edit videos, someone that can run ads, someone that can mow your lawn, someone that can manage your properties, someone that can clean your house. You don't have to do the task. You can get someone in your world to do the tasks. So here's the cool idea. Every time you face a challenge in your business, your brain immediately asks, how do I do this? And the moment it starts asking that question, you're already lost, because how puts you in the equation. How means more work, more learning, more time, more energy, more effort. But a different question is, who can do this? That question opens up a completely different world, right? Every goal you have right now, building an audience, generating leads, making more money, launching a product, growing a brand, someone has already solved all those problems. There's a person alive on this planet right now who's already been there, tried that, done that, built that thing and overcome it. And the fastest path from where you are right now to where you want to be is through the relationship with those people. Not another course, not another YouTube video, not another sleepless night figuring out it all on your own. The right relationship can save you years. Most people spend 3 years gathering information. With a single conversation with the right person, you could cut it into 3 months, 3 weeks maybe. Think about what that means. Think about the years of your life you could get back. Think about the income you'd stop leaving on the table. Stop trying to be the smartest person in the room. Stop trying to be know-it-all and start being the most connected person in the room. Because collaboration isn't a shortcut. Collaboration is the highway. Doing it alone, that's the dirt road. Number 6. Get help before you need it. Here's a mistake I see entrepreneurs make all the time. They wait until they're completely overwhelmed before they get help. They grind until they can't breathe. They work their wheels off. And then they finally breathe and go, okay, maybe I need some help. And at that point, they already left so much growth behind, so much revenue, so much time, so much peace of mind. Don't wait until you're drowning to learn to swim. Get help. Because here's what I've seen happen time and time again. The moment someone brings in the right support, an editor, a VA, a strategist, an accountant, a partner, something shifts. Not in their business, but in their person. When they stop carrying the weight, they stand taller, they think clearer, they're faster, they're creative. The right person doesn't just take things off the plate, they multiply what's possible. One good hire, one good relationship can be change the trajectory of your entire business. And that's something I want. You don't have to have all the money to start. You can start with what you have. Maybe it's $200 a month for a virtual assistant for 10 hours. Maybe it's a trade. Maybe it's someone that can do something, take some time off you. But you make a move, you stop trying everything, and something shifts. Growth happens. I want to close with something that I want you to hear. The way you think about help, about delegation, about collaboration, is a direct reflection of how you think about yourself. If you believe you have to do everything yourself, it's because deep down you don't trust anyone, or deep down you don't believe your time is worth protecting. But wealthy people think completely different. Poor people say, I can't afford to get help. Wealthy people say, I can't afford not to. Poor people ask, how do I do this? Wealthy people ask, who already knows how to complete this? Poor people protect their time like it's sacred. Wealthy people invest their time like it's a seed. And you know what to do with a seed? You don't hold on to it. You don't hoard it. You plant it, you water it, and watch it grow. Your gifts are a seed. Your talents are a seed. Your time is a seed. Plant it where it's going to grow the most. In your zone, in your genius, in your platform, where you're going to be working at the highest level. And find the right person to tend to the rest of the garden. That's not laziness, that's genius. So here's what I want you to do right now, before you can scroll, before you click away, before you go back on the grind. Take your phone, open your apps, write down the tasks that you're doing in your business, your side hustle, or something that you should be doing instead of someone else. Just 3. Look at that list. Ask yourself honestly, what could I change in my business over the next 90 days if those 3 things were off my plate? How much more could you create? How much more could you serve? How much more could you go further? That's your next level. And it's waiting for you on the other side of your willingness to get help. Because here's the truth I want you to carry with you. Your business will grow at the speed of your help you're willing to accept. So stop waiting, stop doing, and stop confusing struggle with strength. Go find who. Now, if you found this video helpful, like, share, and all those YouTube stuff. Thanks so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.